data types. Data types. So in Python, data types are divided into two parts. Data types are divided into two parts. One is fundamental, the other is collection. One is fundamental and other is collection. So in fundamental, you have numerical and strings. Numerical and strings. In collection, you have sequential and non-sequential. Sequential and non-sequential. In the numerical, anyhow, you know, you have int, int, float. And in fundamental, you have another one which is also called as bool, guys. So bool and string. Now in sequential, you will have list and tuple. List, tuple. In non-sequential, you have dictionary and sets. Dictionary and sets. So these are all the different kinds of data types that are there in Python. So let's deal with fundamentals first, and then we'll go to the collection next. All right, guys. So let's say fundamentals. As everyone know, what are integers, floating point, decimals, and all, right? So here you already know how to create variables. All right. So these are called as constant variables. Now I want to create dynamic variables which will be taken from the user input. I will be taking from the user input. So in C, we use scanf to take the user input. Yes or no? But in Python, we take the user input with the help of a function input. So for example, A is equal to input of enter a value. B is equal to input of enter a value. C is equal to A plus B. Print C. Just execute this, click on shift enter. You give 10 as A, B as 20. Now tell me what would be the value of C? So some of you are saying 30 and some of you are saying 1020. So let's see what's the answer is. It is giving it as 1020. Why? The reason is the input function will return a string. The input function will return a string. So let's see what is the type of A now. It will be str, type of A. So it is a string, type of B. It is a string. So here the input function will return a string value. In order to make A and B as integers, you have to append a function like this, int of enter a value. So here I would like to take float of enter a value. Now just execute this. You will get it as 123.0. Now C will be floating point. So this conversion is nothing but called as typecasting. This is nothing but called as typecasting. So conversion of one data type into other data type is nothing but called as typecasting. You can convert an integer to string, a float to string, a string with numerical values to float and integer. So typecasting is possible between an integer to string, a float to string, a string with numerical values to float and integer. Let's see that. First, suppose I create an integer p is equal to 10. Now I would like to convert this p into string. Now what I do, str of t. So q is equal to str of p. Type of p is integer. Type of q is string, right? Now in the same way, I'll just take a floating point. P is equal to 10.8. Q is equal to string of P. Now P becomes float and Q becomes string. Now I take string is equal to hello. I take string is equal to hello. Now can I typecast it to integer or a float? Can I typecast it to integer or a float, guys? No. Let's see whether we can do it or not. Str s is equal to int of str. So it says invalid literal for int with base 10 hello. So these are the different characters or the literals which are unable, which are not being converted into integer. For suppose if you have something like this, can you convert this into integer and a float? Can you convert this into integer and a float? Can you convert this string into integer or a float? You can convert it. Now type of str is a string. Type of s, it is an integer. It is an integer. So this is all about fundamentals of integers and floats and strings. So these are the basic data types, guys. All right, understood till here, everyone?